Chapter 6: Moral Choices Facing Employees. At the end of this topic, you should be able to understand 1. Ascertain the concepts of moral choice facing employees. 2. Adapt the concepts of diversity, equality and discrimination in workplace. 3. Implement whistleblowing, which often occurs within an organization. Let's explore the chapter.
Okay, picture this for a second. You're working for an online business, and you suddenly realize a customer has accidentally transferred an extra 500 ringgit to your company's account. And here's the catch. Literally nobody notices. Not your boss, not the accounting department, and the customer is completely oblivious. So what do? Do you just keep quiet, or do you return the money? It sounds like a simple question, but it hits at the absolute core of what we're talking about today. That split-second choice you make when absolutely no one is watching, that's the ultimate test of integrity. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the high-stakes, honestly pretty personal world of modern workplace ethics. And we're going to see how the moral choices employees face aren't just, abstract concepts buried in a boring corporate handbook. They're real, everyday decisions that create massive ripple effects. We're talking impacts that touch everything from whether a company survives all the way up to global economic stability. We'll be looking at what it actually means to act with honesty and what happens when those ethical lines start getting a little blurry. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the foundation of integrity, move right into power, conflicts, and secrets, take a hard look at the cost of corruption, explore diversity, culture, and safety, and finally, we'll wrap things up with the whistleblower's dilemma. Starting off with Section 1, the foundation of integrity, the spark. Take a massive organization like Petronas, for example. They are incredibly proactive about emphasizing integrity. They heavily promote anti-corruption values and ethical business conduct across their entire workforce. And what this tells us is that highly successful organizations value a person's integrity just as much as their technical skills. It's a really powerful lesson, right? Because you can train someone on technical skills, but without baseline integrity, an organization can just completely collapse from the inside out. Or look at Maybank. As an employee there, you have fundamental responsibilities to your firm, things like protecting confidential information and safeguarding assets. At Maybank, maintaining strict confidentiality regarding customer info is absolutely required. Think about it. If a bank employee secretly shares your data with scammers, customers lose their money, and the bank instantly loses public confidence. It's a total disaster. And this obligation to honesty ties directly into the UN Sustainable Development Goal 9, which is all about building reliable, secure industries. Trust is, quite literally, their most valuable asset. Because it really boils down to this. When customers lose trust, even a profitable company can fall. It only takes one unethical act, just one leak of information or one dishonest transaction to create a devastating ripple effect that can bring down a totally thriving organization. Moving on to Section 2, power, conflicts, and secrets, the inner circle. It's actually staggering how many ways official positions can be abused. We're talking about using company funds for personal stuff, hiring family members unfairly, which we know is nepotism, accepting illegal commissions, or just straight up misusing company facilities. When leaders abuse their power like this, the damage trickles down and affects society as a whole. A really well-known example connected to this exact kind of ethical governance issue is 1MDB. The issues around the misuse of funds there raised massive global concerns about leadership responsibility. And again, this links right back to SDG 16, focusing on the need to build trustworthy, accountable institutions. And this brilliantly illustrates how conflicts of interest work. A professional decision should always be based on getting the best price and quality. But imagine a purchasing officer who chooses her husband's supplier, even though they charge way higher prices. That creates a totally unfair advantage and actively harms the company financially. Giant corporations like Tesla, for instance, are monitored super closely for this very trap, looking for any time personal relationships might be influencing corporate decisions. Because sometimes a decision looks totally professional on paper, but the actual intention behind it is entirely unethical. And then, we have the secrets. Let's talk about Apple and insider trading. Insider trading is when you take confidential company information and use it for your own personal financial gain. Just imagine an employee finding out their company is about to drop a massively successful product. So they buy up shares before the public even has a clue. They earn a completely unfair profit. Companies like Apple have to guard their confidential product info incredibly strictly, simply because leaks can improperly influence stock prices and investor decisions. Always remember this. Information is power. When abused, others become victims. Insider trading destroys any sense of transparency and fairness in our financial systems, which directly erodes SDG 16's focus on fair institutions. When someone cheats the system using inside knowledge, it's everyday people and honest investors who end up paying the price.
Section 3. The cost of corruption, the outer circle.
Now, what's really interesting about this is just how fine the line is. A legitimate gift that's meant to build a relationship, but sliding an expensive smartphone across the table to an officer to boost your chances of winning a project tender? No way. That's a bribe, it's a kickback. It might be dressed up as a gift, but it is completely illegal. In Malaysia, the fight against this is spearheaded by the MACC, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. They investigate these cases because corruption doesn't just break the law, it literally destroys the future of a nation. So here is a really crucial takeaway. Not every gift is wrong, but when gifts influence decisions, ethics begin to disappear. If a supplier is constantly treating company staff to luxury meals, and suddenly that staff starts favoring them despite giving poor service, professional judgment is completely compromised. Those excessive gifts slowly chip away at fairness and directly violate the justice goals we see in SDG 16.
Section 4. Diversity, culture, and safety, the environment.
Let's pivot for a second and look at AirAsia. They're widely recognized as a champion of workplace diversity, making it a point to employ people from all different races, cultures, and nationalities. Diversity respects our differences and ensures fair opportunities for everyone. Discrimination does the exact opposite, like rejecting a perfectly qualified candidate just because she wears a hijab, or assuming an older worker can't adapt to new tech. Ending that kind of discrimination connects directly to SDG 5 for gender equality and SDG 10 for reduced inequalities. As the source material reminds us, differences aren't weaknesses. Diversity is an organization's superpower. But you know, safety in the workplace goes way beyond just equal hiring. We have to talk about sexual harassment. This includes inappropriate touching, sexual jokes, offensive messages, unwanted comments, or any threatening behavior. Imagine a scenario where a supervisor is repeatedly sending inappropriate late-night texts to an intern. That intern feels uncomfortable, sure, but also terrified to report it because her whole career assessment is on the line. That creates immense fear and emotional trauma, and it's a direct violation of SDG 3's focus on good mental and emotional health at work. I just want to pause for a second and let this really powerful statement sink in. A toxic workplace can destroy mental health even if the salary is high. The human cost of ignoring workplace safety and culture is just massive. It honestly doesn't matter how prestigious the title is or how many zeros are on the paycheck. If the environment isn't ethically safe, it's failing its people. Section 5, the whistleblower's dilemma, the global impact. You've probably heard of Enron, right? It's basically the poster child for massive corporate scandals. When an employee or an accountant discovers that their company is manipulating financial reports on that kind of massive scale, they are faced with an agonizing moral dilemma. Do you keep quiet to protect your job and your livelihood, or do you blow the whistle to protect the public? Because when financial fraud goes completely unchecked, the fallout is catastrophic for everyone. Let's move to a different example and see how this builds. Take the Edward Snowden case. He leaked confidential government information about internet surveillance, and it perfectly captures this dilemma. Some people consider him an absolute hero for exposing unethical practices, while others view him as a traitor for revealing classified information. It is incredibly complex, and there's no easy answer. Which perfectly frames this quote. People who speak the truth are sometimes hated, not because they are wrong, but because the truth is painful. Whistleblowing is absolutely vital for pushing the transparency and accountability goals of SDG 16. But we have to be real about the immense personal backlash the truth teller almost always faces. It takes a profound amount of courage to step up like that. To wrap this all up today, we have to remember that success in business isn't just about profit margins or market dominance. Ethical behavior is the glue that helps organizations build trust and protect society. Great companies are not built by technology alone, but by people with integrity. The honesty, the fairness, the ethics that every single employee brings to their desk, that is what actually shapes the future.
Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. What kind of company will your choices build? Whether it's returning that 500 ringgit overpayment when absolutely nobody is looking, or having the guts to stand up to a toxic culture, your individual ethics matter. The choices you make today are going to create the workplace and really the world of tomorrow. Keep that in mind the next time you face a tough decision. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.